Alright, so this knife thoughts video is going to be on this knife, and this is a knife that I haven't seen too many places or really any reviews of. It's a knife that was gifted to me by my cousin, who is an avid climber, and he does, kind of bouldering and then in gyms and stuff like that. And he carries this knife when he does his climbing, and he sent it to me, and I was excited. I've seen him carrying it while he was climbing, so it's always cool to get to, first of all, I'm always happy to get a gift knife, and I really appreciate it. But also, it's always cool to see knives that people use for kind of specific purposes or specific hobbies. I think that it can kind of give you an insight into that hobby. So this is by a company that I'm not familiar with, and I did pretty much no research on, Edelrid, and it's called the rope knife, or rope tooth knife. And as you can see, it seems to be a German company. Edelrid, Germany. Goes over a little bit of the specs here in the back. And it comes in a nice box. That's one thing I noticed about it. Now, some people might be unfamiliar. Germany has a long history of knife making, like there is kind of North Pennsylvania and South New York in America, and Sheffield in England, and some places like, I think it's pronounced Kislar in Russia, and Maniago in Italy, things like that. Germany has a long history of knife making. Most people are familiar with the Solingen, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but that is where a lot of knives are made, and you see that on etched or stamped on a lot of knives. So this is a German knife. Let's see if I can get it out. You can see it has this kind of nice foam cutout. And it's an interesting knife. Now, the first thing you notice, and if you read the back of the box, it goes over the fact that it has this really, and I mean really big pivot. This pivot is quite oversized, and that's actually what I believe my cousin who gave it to me likes about this knife, and why he uses it for climbing is because he's able to hook it to a carabiner. And I believe he hooks it through the pivot here, but you do also get a lanyard hold down here. So that's an interesting design, and one thing that you'll notice is that it seems to be kind of like a really big rivet. So I don't think you'll have a lot of trouble about blade play on a knife like this with such a big riveted type pivot. It's not adjustable as far as I can tell, other than it does have this pin, or I guess screw, for the lock bar. So interesting feature there. And now you can see that it has an opening hole, and interestingly, it has no modification to differentiate it from a spider hole. Sometimes you'll see the opening, basically an opening hole on a knife that is maybe oblong, or more of an oval, something like that. I always feel like I use the word oblong wrong. So maybe I did, I don't know, but you know what I mean. It's slightly different than the circle of a Spyderco hole, or a spider hole. I think they're probably not bound by the same trademark laws because it's in Germany, but you can see it works well. It's well done. It is a little covered, but not too much at all, and it has this kind of cutout here and the sculpted handle. You can see how that is sculpted so that you can get at it and open it, and it's pretty easy to open with one hand. It has a backlock, as you can see. It's an interesting backlock in that it's kind of almost more of a traditional backlock that you see on some European designs of that use backlocks, that has a tab that sticks up rather than having a cutout in the handle, similar to, again, a Spyderco. Spydercos often have this cutout in the handle that allows you to unlock the blade, but some traditional designs that use lockbacks have a bump, and this has that, And I found that the best way to close it one-handed is to press on that and begin closing it with your finger in the hole there, and then close it the whole way. So you can both open and close it with one hand. So the hole is a little small so that my thumb kind of slips out sometimes, but it works well enough. And the handle, I kind of was worried that it wouldn't be ergonomic with this bump that's kind of forms the guard, but it actually is. It's a pretty simple handle shape here so that you can grip it like that. You can kind of ride up on the handle some if you want. So pretty comfortable. And then it has half serrations, which for climbing would be good, being that you might have to cut rope. So these serrations look similar but not quite the same to Spyderco's. And then it has the straight edge or plain edge also. So overall, an interesting little knife. Again, one that I'm really happy and thankful to have gotten from my cousin. And it is a cool little knife that I think would work well for the intended use that he has for it as a climbing carabiner knife. So this is the Edelrid rope tooth knife. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel. You can hit the bell for notifications when I post new videos. Also check out my social media, Instagram, Facebook, everything like that, all at Knife Thoughts. And check out my website where I post articles on knives and knife topics, knifethoughts.com. And finally, don't forget to go out and do good.